Good afternoon. This is the first of our interviews with one of our apprenticeship champions for the Surfer programme on the Erasmus Plus KA3 programme. Good afternoon, Chris. Thanks for inviting us along to MarineCo this afternoon. Can you tell me a little bit more about the business and what you do up here in East Cornwall?
Certainly. We are a MarineCo. MarineCo came out of a group that was a buying group for commercial fishermen's cooperatives, which changed into MarineCo about 10 years ago, refocused the business, and are now a wholesale trader in the marine market. Our core market is still commercial fishing.
Okay, fantastic. So you're a small medium enterprise based up in Cornwall. Can you tell me why you chose to go down the apprenticeship route as a business?
One of the big part of our business is wire rigging.
Okay.
And there are very few wire riggers out there to employ. It's a skill that's largely being lost, and as people retire, there is nobody to take their place.
Okay.
So we actually started the apprenticeship to grow our own staff, and we've had 7 apprentices,
Okay.
of which 2 have failed.
Right.
Wire rigging isn't for everybody.
Mm.
Wire rigging is a dirty, physically demanding job, and doesn't suit a lot of people, doesn't suit a lot of youngsters.
Yeah.
But of the 7, 5 of them have completed it, and 4 of them are still here.
Okay. Fantastic. I mean, that's the beauty, I suppose, of apprenticeship sometimes, isn't it? You know, it's an opportunity to try and introduce new people into the business, but also for young people to try and see whether it's the career for them. So it's, but it is a good way to grow the business, as you've outlined.
Certainly, the first thing we do is give them a trial. When we interview anybody, we ask them to come in their old clothes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which they find strange.
Yeah.
We then put them in a boiler suit and put them in the wire rigging lane for an hour.
Yeah.
And that will sort quite a few of them out, And when we try to, we say to them, you need to be honest with us. Do you see yourself doing this job?
Yeah.
And if not, that's the end of it. We then give them a week's trial before we take it any further.
Yeah.
And by doing that, we've weeded out largely the ones that aren't suited for that.
Okay. Okay. Well, what, you know, obviously to be able to take those apprentices on, what sort of support did you receive from the Cornwall Apprenticeship Agency to enable you to do that?
Well, right from the very beginning, because they helped us recruit the people. So the network took on the advertising, the vetting, the pre-vetting, the initial telephone interview. So they gave us kind of pre-qualified candidates.
Yeah.
And we've gone through this process, as I say, 7 times, and 2 or 3 of those times we've had very poor results, and sometimes we've had quite strong results, and that just depends on what the market looks like. But the network have been very good at sifting that out, giving us very, very good candidates, and then obviously supporting them thereafter.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So obviously you've got your apprentices in place. They've been signed onto programme. We've found some good candidates, as you've outlined, but it doesn't always work. But I think that's part of the process of looking to take apprentices on. Once they've started, what sort of benefit has the apprenticeship training given you as a business? Because it's quite flexible, the approach, isn't it?
We take on the technical part of the job, if you will, because there isn't anybody else that can really teach that. So the network take on all the core skills, all the health and safety, all the employee awareness skills, some soft skills, which we would struggle to do, would never find the time to do if the truth was told. And I think that makes the apprentices think about the role and their role in it. And I think it also proves to them that there's an investment in them, that there's a value to what they're doing.
Yeah.
So the skills that the network bring to it are different to the ones we can impart.
Yeah, sure. You're doing the real learning from a job perspective is given and supported by yourselves, but we're putting that structure around it, I suppose. So.
But you still test what we do.
Yeah.
So they have to produce bespoke pieces of work
Yeah.
for their trainer.
Exactly.
So it puts a structure on that and a quality standard, if you will, on that, which I think is.
And I suppose it's assessing knowledge and competency of the job as well.
Yes,
Which
exactly.
is what the qualification is about. Okay, probably a good business to ask, having been through the apprenticeship pathway for quite a few times. But would you recommend the apprenticeship pathway to other SMEs, and if so, why?
Absolutely. I can't imagine why anybody would not want an apprentice. We found an extremely positive experience.
Yeah.
So 2 failures, but I would suggest that's a lower failure rate than you would get if you went into the wider market and just took people on.
Yeah.
And the ones that we've got have just been tremendous.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Well, thank you for your time today. Let's hope the apprenticeship programme continues here and we can get some good young people in place.
Thank you.
Fantastic.